Hi, it's me, Jazzy. I'm back with another tech-related video, and today is AliExpress tech time. So I've been on AliExpress and I've bought a selection of useful and interesting tech tools and gadgets. So let's get these packages over on the bench and see what I've got. Right, so AliExpress tech, this is parcel 1 of 2. Let's see what I got. So I went on AliExpress basically and I bought a selection of useful things and kits. So what did we get from AliExpress? Let's have a look. Oh, we got another bag in the bag and something really tiny. What is this? Let's investigate this. What is it? It's sealed for freshness, whatever it is. Some sort of helpful little gadget. Ah, right, okay. Smart battery monitor. Okay, this could be interesting. So I guess you just hook this up to a battery and it tells you if it's any good. 7 to 55 volts. There we go, it does work. So this is giving me 8.8 volts. And you can see it's flashing. I've got a flashing indicator there on the left hand side. So I guess this is small enough little battery monitor that you could include this into a project. So something that I've made that I've got a battery in, I could have a little battery monitor. It's kind of cool. Does the job. It's telling me 8.8 volts on that one. Right, so it won't work on a AA, but then it says it's 7 to 55 volts, so 1.5 volt, not enough to make it work. But yeah, it's a cool little gadget. I might be able to use that in a project. Okay, we're off to a good start. What else have we got in here? Right, what else have we got? Ooh, multimeter. We'll save that for last, shall we? As we always do. Now, I know there's a few kits in this that I ordered from AliExpress because I wanted to stock up and get us a few useful kits to put together. Now, this is just described as electronic module. Does it tell me on here? Yes, it's an electronic watch kit. Ah, well, we all remember the watch multimeter that I had from Temu, which didn't actually tell the time. This does actually tell the time, and it's actually I think going to be quite a fun little kit, this one. Let's have a little peek, and then I'll do an episode where we build a digital watch, because why just buy a digital watch when you can build your own? Oh, is that the case? Oh, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? There's the watch strap, look. And we've got instructions, beautiful. Oh, we've got some English instructions, good instructions as well. Okay, this could be a fun little kit to put together then. There's our PCB for our watch. Oh yeah, you can see where the digits are going to go. 7-segment jobs. And there's our 7-segment display. It's going to be quite bulky for a watch, isn't it? Okay, we're going to have fun with that though. This is going to be a fun little kit to put together. I'm going to look forward to this one. Right, there should be, hopefully, there should be a few kits in this package. We've got another package as well to open. So, let's see, what have we got? We've got bag, and a multimeter, because we always got to have a multimeter. So, let's have a look at these first. I think these are kits. This is a digital clock kit. Mini weather station, multifunction, brilliant. So this is this is another little soldering kit, because I had a look on AliExpress and there was absolutely loads of really cool soldering kits, and I'm always on the lookout for interesting kits that we can build just for fun, and this seemed interesting enough. We've got a little case here to build. You know I like an acrylic case. We've got some bits and bobs in here. Something with some pin headers. Okay, I don't want to delve too much, but we've got a cable here and a couple of little boards. Okay, we've got a little bit of surface mount to do on this one. Should be interesting. And we've got a Bluetooth board. Okay, it's quite an easy little kit then by the look of it. It's a DIY mini weather clock. There we go. Instructions look good on these. It's the first batch of kits I think I've bought from AliExpress, and I've got to say, so far, pretty impressed with the level of instructions that I'm getting here. That's what it should look like when it's finished. So there we go. There's another one we can have fun putting together. I think there's one more kit in this bag of goodies, and then we've got a multimeter to take a look at, and then we've got some other stuff in the other packet. This is a Tesla coil. Now somebody asked me to do a Tesla coil in the comments. I do always read your comments and I reply to as many as I can. I did ask out for interesting kits and somebody said, why not do a Tesla coil? This was really cheap. I think it was about £2 or £3, something like that, which seems ridiculous. We have instructions in Chinese, but we've got a schematic, which is good. I do like a schematic. And we've got a component list, so things could be worse. We've got a whole bag of components, blue resistors, but at least they're big enough to just about see the color codes on. And we've got our little Tesla coil and our PCB. Okay, well, it's labelled up, so we'll be all right with that. Got some heat sinks there, and our Tesla coil and a cable. Fantastic. Okay, well, we can have great fun with this. There will be upcoming a few kit building episodes. There we go. So we've got 3 good kits there to put together. Now, what have we got here? An Aneng multimeter, of course we have. So, what is this one? This is an SZ303. Now, I think recently I looked at an SZ202. So, this is the 303. Let's see, what is the difference? Okay. Oh, it's very light. A lot of these cheap multimeters are. We've got instructions in Chinese and English. Okay. All looks pretty simple. Right, excellent. It's sealed for freshness. It's always good to see. I'm never sure where to find a way into these. There we go, that'll do. What have we got? I don't think this one talks to me. We'll find out. I'll find some batteries in a minute. All right, okay, so it feels pretty plasticky. It feels pretty light. It has got a stand. It does feel very, very light. Comparison to some of the other Anengs we've looked at. We looked at recently the SZ202, which is this one. And that was actually quite good. For such a cheap multimeter, this was really cheap as well. £4 or £5, something like that. And this is the 303, this is the 202 we looked at last time, and this was actually all right. I see a few similarities in this one. So what have we got? We've got AC volts, DC volts, AC and DC millivolts, frequency, non-contact voltage. We've got continuity and diode mode. We've got a separate resistance mode, which is good because that avoids the problem of the continuity beep on low resistance. And we've got some current ranges over here. So we've got microamps, milliamps and amps. And we've got our separate current socket. We'll do a bit of a teardown on this and we'll see what it's got in the way of protection as it does current. Yeah, standard terminals on the front, and it needs some batteries. So what do we need? We need 2 AAAs. So I will find some batteries for that, and at the end of this episode we'll give this a test and a bit of a teardown, as is traditional. Let's have a look. What did I get in the other packet first? Right, let's see what's in the second bag. Is that supposed to rattle? I hope so. I think there might be another kit in here. This is quite the kit extravaganza this episode. We're going to have a lot of kits to make. Right. Oh, nearly lost that. Is there actually anything in that? That one doesn't sound good. I hope it's supposed to make that noise. I have no idea. What have we got? Is there actually anything in there? Right, so I thought I was ordering a pack of these. Obviously I only got one. well, we can evaluate the single one and see if it's any good, and then if it's good, I'll buy some more. So it's the idea of it is, it's just a banana plug, gold plated type of thing. So if you've got just a wire that you just want to put a banana plug on the end, look, I've got one here that's just got a bit of wire on the end. So I think the premise is you have to lift this up, that's it, and then you put a wire in there and you clip it down, that's it, and that's your wire there. Fantastic. That seems pretty handy. Yeah, that's right. Well, it works, it does the job. That's actually quite useful. I quite like that. It's a shame I only accidentally bought one. For some reason, I didn't look too closely. Often I don't. That's pretty good. All right, I quite like that. It's obviously just gold plated. It's not going to be like mega quality or anything, but just for testing, sometimes you just need a way of just sticking a bit of wire into something. I may well order some more of those, I think, when I do my next AliExpress order. Okay, thumbs up for that one. And in this last one, being the kit extravaganza, I think it's another kit, but it doesn't sound too healthy. Oh, it's in like foam wrapping. Right. Oh. Oh no, I know what this is. Oh, so I think there's another kit to come. Right, I think there's another one on the way. This is cool. This is cool. These are walkie-talkies. Hence I've got two of them. And hence why everything's rattling around in them. The case looks very similar to the FM radio that I did from Amazon a while ago. And the bits were rattling around in that as well. But the premise of this is it's a smart two-way radio kit. That's why I bought two of them, you see. I can that way I can have a conversation with myself. No change there. So I thought we could have a bit of fun with these. This would be quite a cool little kit build. So we've got some great kit builds coming up then. This has been a bit of a kit special from AliExpress. So we've got the two-way radios, we've got a Tesla coil, we've got a digital clock weather station thing, and we've got a electronic watch kit. So that's some really good kits. I think there might be another one on the way. I'm sure there was another kit that was going to be with this lot. Okay, so I'm all done with opening stuff. So what's left now is to test this little Aneng SZ303. Right, let me grab some batteries. Right, here we go. So 2 AAAs is all that we need for this one. There we go. Right. Now, I've had great fun testing out these little Aneng meters. We've had some really good ones and we've had some slightly questionable ones. So let's see what the 303 is like, shall we? So we've got straight away non-contact voltage. Well, that's easy enough to try, isn't it? We've got some voltage here. Yep. Okay, so you get to there, you get 1 bar. And then the closer in you get, got to be pretty close, then you get to 3 and 4. Okay, so non-contact voltage works straight away. So we've got here AC volts, DC volts, millivolts range, frequency. So we've got a select. Right, so the select must be where you've got 2 different functions on one. Like we've got diode and continuity here. That switches between continuity and diode mode. Okay, we're going to test all these out in a minute. Resistance range, we've got microamps, milliamps and amps range. And select switches between AC and DC. Nice and easy. Standard probe sockets here, and you've got your current socket over here, 10 amp. Got a backlight? You do, quite a reasonable backlight as well. Okay, I'm often surprised what you get with these cheap multimeters. This thing was like £4 or £5. So you've got quite a lot of functionality on it. And okay, we've got no capacitance on this one, which some of the cheap ones do have. This one doesn't have capacitance, but that's okay. It has quite a lot going for it. So we've got a nice backlight there, and we've got a hold function. What more can you want for a fiver? What we'll do then, we'll do some DC volts. Let's just do a couple of quick tests. We can compare it actually with my daily driver. I quite like the Zoe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full roundup of cheap multimeters, £20 and under, and I'll do all the testing before the episode, so you don't have to sit there and watch me test loads of multimeters. I'll have all the results ready, and then we can just look at the advantages and disadvantages of each one. I think that'd be kind of useful. Possibly, you may tell me not, but you'll have to excuse the colours of the test leads because I've got some of my leads on another experiment that's ongoing, so I'm just using what I've got at the moment. Alright, so we want to be on DC volts. Let's have a go. Yellow is actually red and blue is black in this case. Alright, so pretty good then. 5.146. This obviously has less resolution. It's a 2000 count. 10. 15. I'm using my Farnell power supply for this, which is usually out, but this is pretty good. It's not bad, is it? For a cheap meter. I'm not suggesting you'd have this as your primary multimeter, but for a secondary one, to have in a drawer or something, or to take out in the car with you or whatever. So just a quick current test then for the Aneng. I've got this Zoe hooked up as well for comparison. So if I switch on my power supply, that's pretty good, isn't it? It's keeping up nicely there. Let's increase. All right, let's try 500 milliamps. Bear in mind, as always, my power supply may not be overly accurate, but there we go. All we're looking for is how well this is keeping up with the Zoe. And the Zoe is comparative with what my power supply is saying. My power supply there is saying 0.510. That's kind of agreeing with the Zoe. All right, so let's go up to 1 amp. 1.065, 1.06. It's not far off, is it? Let's go 2 amps. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, bearing in mind that's under a fiver, I'd say it's doing pretty good. Alright, so let's grab the probes that came with it. Let's try some continuity then. I quite like it. When I find one of these little meters that's actually quite good, it's quite a nice little treat. Especially for a fiver. Because it's always nice when I can turn around to my viewers and go, hey, you can buy this for a fiver and it's actually alright. Okay, so let's go for continuity, which we can select here. That's not bad at all. Obviously, because these probes are new, there's a bit of a coating on them. But that's not bad. Long beep. Yeah. Alright, let's try diode mode. Let me find a diode. What have we got? Forward voltage. Yep. 0.570 volts. Okay. Pretty much what I'd expect from that. Now, one thing that's interesting to note on diode mode is what voltage is it putting out. Let's have a look. This is part of the fun, isn't it? That's my only complaint so far. These sockets really tight. I'm just intrigued to see what this is putting out in diode mode. 2.26 volts. Okay, so not quite as much as the Zoe would be. Let's go to volts on here and go to diode on here. And you'll see the Zoe puts out 3.2 volts. That's interesting to note. Okay, so what haven't we tested yet? Frequency, we can test that. What's the spec? We didn't look at the spec, did we, on this one? I got ahead of myself. Normally we look at the book first. Doing it all the wrong way round today. There you go. You can freeze frame if you want to have a look at the specs for this meter. There you go. Put it on frequency then. Okay, so 200 hertz then. Okay, go. Straight away, not a problem. 10 hertz? Yes. 1 hertz. It's done it. 1.001. That's okay. And the most I can go is 2 meg. So let's try that. Yeah, no problem. I'm impressed with this for a fiver. And I don't often say that. Normally there's always something I don't like about it, or it's got some sort of problem. Stand's all right. It's okay for what you pay for it. And as we've seen, functionality on this, pretty good. Okay, all we've got to try now is some resistance. Very impressed with this little meter so far. Right, we need to be on resistance. There we go. So let's start with, will it do 0.1 ohm? Yes. 2, 3, 4. Little slow on 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 ohm? Yeah. Okay, 10 ohms? Yeah. 100 ohms? Yeah. 1K? Not a problem. Right, switch to the other decade box. All right, so let's do 100K. Yeah. Little bit off there. That's 1 meg. Just under on 1 meg. Okay, so how about 5 meg? Yeah, not bad. And 10 meg, that's about as far as I can go. Yeah, not bad. Ever so slightly out on some of the higher resistance readings, but not bad. Well, I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed with the Aneng SZ303 for the money. I've tested a lot of these really cheap bargain basement multimeters, and there's usually some sort of issue. This one, the only problem I've got with it is the sockets are just really tight. Whether they'll loosen up in time or whether it's because I'm using proper banana plugs rather than the little half ones that they give you with it. But I tell you what, for a £5, what a great little backup multimeter to keep with you. Right, only one thing left to do with this. Let's take it apart so we can have a look inside. Just 4 screws on this, nice and easy. Wonder if it'll be similar internally to any of the other Anengs that we looked at. Well, there we go. Okay, well maybe that's how the backlight is. The backlight projected, oh yeah, from these 2 little LEDs onto this. That's quite clever. So they've just used these 2 little blue LEDs here. So I guess if you didn't like the blue, you could swap these out for a different colour, as long as you got the same value. That's very clever. And they just use this to reflect the backlight through the screen. I'm going to take the batteries out while I'm poking around in here. So pretty simple little board then, as with a lot of these little Aneng meters. Our current comes in here. The 10 amp, we've got a current resistor here. So you can see we've got the current resistor there. Okay, couple of rectifier diodes there. Couple of SOT23 transistors there next to them. Okay, so down here. So we've got a protection MOV or PTC. Alright, so you've got a polymer resettable fuse there for protection. There you go, JK250. So it gives you a bit of protection. Wouldn't necessarily recommend putting mains into this. We've got the processor chip under its blob of goo as usual. And obviously our 2 little LEDs at the top there. That's marked as X232A version 1. Yeah, not really a lot else to see in there. Pretty simple, but very neatly done, and I like what they've done with the LEDs. All right, let's pop it back together. Right, well, there you go. The Aneng SZ303 in the under £20 budget super cheap multimeter range. That's got to be the best I've tested so far. Now we've looked at quite a few Aneng meters, these little cheap ones. Some have been better than others, and there's usually there's a drawback with them. I've got to say, so far that's got to be my favourite out of the really cheap multimeters. The SZ202 came close, very good, but weird display. So what I'll do is I'll do a roundup episode on these plus more of cheap multimeters up to £20, and I'll pre-test them so I've got all the stats ready for you, and then we can just look at the pros and cons, which is the best cheap multimeter I've tested so far. But so far I've got to say my favourite, SZ303. So what did we get from this episode of AliExpress Tech Time? Well, we got the Aneng SZ303, which I reckon is an excellent value for money bargain basement multimeter. Impressed with that. We've got some fantastic kits here to build. So it's been all about the kits really today. It's a bit of a kit extravaganza. There was going to be a couple of other bits on this episode, but they didn't unfortunately arrive in time for the video, so they'll be on the next one. I did get this little smart battery monitor, which is quite cool. I can use in a little project, and this banana plug, which unfortunately I only ordered one of, but having tested it, I think I'll be ordering myself a few more. So all in all, a pretty good haul from AliExpress. Well, there you go, quite a good selection of little electronics kits that we can have great fun building in future episodes. So we've got a few little kit builds there to do, and then we've got the Aneng SZ303, which I think is possibly my favourite so far of all the cheap multimeters that I've tested, £20 and under. This one, I haven't really got any gripes about it. The sockets are a little bit stiff, but apart from that, it tested well on all its functions. And bearing in mind, this costs about a £5 from AliExpress. It'll make a good second multimeter. It's always good to have a backup one to keep in the drawer as a spare, or keep it in your car or whatever. We've got the banana plug, which I managed to order just one, gold plated with the clip in for the wire. I think that's really handy. I'm going to go off and order some more of those because I think that could be quite a useful thing. And pretty cheap. And I've got this little battery monitor that I can use for a project as well. So that just about wraps up this episode of AliExpress Tech Time, and there's more bits and bobs on the way, so I'll follow up with those once they arrive. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and as always, massive thanks to everyone for watching, sharing, liking and subscribing. And big thanks to all my YouTube and Patreon members. Don't forget you can support me on Patreon and buy me a coffee, which helps to support the channel and keeps me making more cool videos. I'll be back soon with another tech related video, but in the meantime, take care and I'll see you on the next one.